in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio, the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. I am all about transformation. I love it when people are able to take us from where we are to where we want to be. And some people specialize in doing that in your life, some in your business, some in your marketing. I've kind of delved in a little bit of each of those areas, but some people really are passionate and really good at life transformation. And I'm privileged to have one of those guests with us today on the show. I'll be speaking with Linda Armstrong. She is an energy healer and a spiritual awakening coach. She has a unique style in her work that combines energy healing with coaching while tapping into her intuitive nature and spiritual guidance to help her clients live an inspired, high vibrational life. She helps them find out what that is and knowing what it is so that they can understand that it is for their highest good. So that sounds very exciting. Linda Armstrong, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Hi, thank you. I'm excited.
Excited to have you and to tap into your wisdom. Everyone approaches transformation from a little bit different perspective, and that's what makes everybody so unique and so valuable in how they approach the problem and how they bring the solution to people. And it's always about trying to get us out from where we are to where we want to be. So I'm interested in knowing more about how you do that. First, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in this area? What's your story?
Well, I was teaching karate for many years with my husband, and I had this tear in my rotator cuff. I couldn't move my arm, which I thought was the most awful thing that could happen to me as a karate teacher.
Yeah.
But what it was is just it was like it's like spirit brought to me this situation to bring me to what I was supposed to be doing, which is the healing work that I do now. And so I decided at that point that I needed to find something I can do with anyone from anywhere at any time, anyone in the world. You know, not to be limited to where my karate school was in Tenafly, New Jersey. And so it made me start thinking, and I went to find out more about like internet marketing, and that led me to find what is my passion, which at the time was really law of attraction and crystal, working with the energy of crystal. And then, you know, it's like things just happened without me even knowing it, kind of. I've kind of just been led the whole way. And I wound up signing up for a law of attraction coaching academy on like the last hour of the shutoff to closing out the course. It was a year-long course, and it's all about law of attraction coaching, really working off the principles of Abraham Hicks, which you're probably familiar with.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and during that time, so I still had this tear that was like in February. I had this tear, and then by April, I wind up signing up for this coaching academy. And then come around to October, I was accidentally sent an email that was meant for graduates of this year-long course, but I was only, a couple of months into it. And it was a course to sign up for that was called Awakening Your Light Body. It was a meditation course. And at the time, I thought I couldn't meditate. I can't quiet my mind. I had all these reasons, but something made me have to sign up for this course.
Well, that was a really kind of a serendipitous moment. You got an email invitation that you weren't supposed to get, and then you took advantage of it.
Yeah, but at the time, I didn't even know I wasn't supposed to get it until after I signed up for it. And when I was like into that course, it was with the same instructor, Christy Whitman of the Quantum Success Coaching Academy.
Yeah.
And it was her Light Body course. And it was during that time when I learned that I wasn't even supposed to sign up for this, right? But in the meantime, I still have this pain in my shoulder. I can't lift my arm more than a couple of inches. And it was getting close to around Christmas time. And we were having a big party for all of our karate students. And a couple of them have had this surgery for the rotator cuff tear. And prior to this party, I had called my doctor. I'm like, okay, I give in. I got to do something about this. I'll come over in January and we'll schedule the surgery because my insurance was switching over. So I couldn't sign. I didn't do it until after I figured January. Now it's December. We're having this Christmas party. I'm listening to all these stories of these horror stories about the surgery. And I just heard or sensed or felt somehow, I got this message, you can heal yourself. And I thought, I couldn't even hear a word anybody was saying. So I can heal myself. It just totally took me away. And I thought, you know what? I'm not having the surgery. I'm going to figure out if I can, maybe I can heal myself. And this was like new to me that I could heal myself. Even though I was doing law of attraction coaching and all that, I didn't come to the healing aspect of it yet. And then I make this decision that that's what I'm going to do. That course that I was not supposed to sign up for would meet online the first 3 weeks of every month. So we were on a break over Christmas. The very first class in January was all about self-healing. And that's what we worked on for that month. And 2 months later, my tear was completely healed, basically by just sending the energy of love to the tear.
Wow.
Now, I still didn't know that I was going to be a healer, right? It just kept unfolding. And then I wind up signing up for this other course. And then someone's going to teach Reiki. I had no idea what it is. But I'm like, let me find out about that, because I was compelled to find out and to sign up for it, again, without even knowing really what it was. And then the Reiki, it's just a series of, you could, if you allow yourself to be guided, and I was looking for this something else I wanted to do, and I did put it out there to the universe that I want to work with anyone from anywhere at any time. I thought it would be coaching. It is now coaching and healing. And I'm giving Reiki to a woman who is just talking about this guy from Israel coming to teach this modality. I didn't have to hear even the words she was saying. Something told me I had to do that. So it's been that kind of a thing where I just been drawn to all these different modalities. And before you know it, this is what I'm doing now. I combine healing, energy healing, with coaching. And that's how I help people to really break through these blocks, the subconscious programming that is really holding them back and preventing them from moving forward, because there's programs running in the subconscious that just won't permit certain things.
So, very, very interesting. And it's interesting how your journey has gone from karate teacher to something in a completely different, or maybe related, but it's not, doesn't usually go together, but it represents an evolution in your life.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I'll just make the point. I was a graphic artist for many years. I worked in advertising. So, and then I met my husband, karate teacher, and then I wound up, teaching with him. So it's just like this. If you allow we have a plan. We come here with a plan, right? And if we just allow ourselves to follow it, it'll unfold. You can't stop it from unfolding. But this is where I come in with the things I help other people with. They'll have these blocks. Like a lot of people are like, I really want to start doing this, but I don't feel like that I can actually switch to this type of work or whatever it is. So I just uncover the things that are blocking them and then release it, basically.
And I think we all experience those blocks in different areas of our life, relating it to business. We have ideas for businesses that we'd like to start, or the lifestyle that we'd like to live, and the business that we have in mind that would create the financial freedom as well as the time freedom for us to be able to live that life. But then here comes the blocks or the doubts or the barriers, the obstacles in our mind. So you help people to identify what those are, and then to get over them, go around them, go through them, dissolve them, whatever, so that they can then experience this breakthrough and create the transformation shift that they want to create.
Yes. Yeah, so, that's it.
Yeah. So what's the biggest problem that you see with the people that you're trying to help? Why is this such an issue that we can't just do this ourselves, or can we do it ourselves?
You know what? That's where it really comes in play with this whole thing with awakening. Because until you realize that there's more, or that you're capable of more, or you start to awaken and believe that more in this power within you to sort things out, figure things out. And for me, especially, I like to combine working with spirit energy, to help guide you and lead you to these, to where you want to go. But that does bring up old programming that can get in the way. And I mean, we're bombarded by the media, by, television shows, even all these limiting beliefs that are just put into your system, where two things. One, you don't always realize that you're holding on to something like this. And I'll do muscle testing and I'll find beliefs, and people are like, no, I don't believe that. I'm like, well, your system's telling me that you do, and then we clear those things, and then I test them again, and they no longer test for that belief. It's been released. So you can see it instantly that the energy has been lifted. Mm-hmm. I was going to go somewhere else with that. Now I forget what it was.
Well, what I was wondering is this something that anybody is able to do, or is there a particular thing that's preventing us from creating that breakthrough?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are. That's where I was going with this. It's just you just kind of programmed to think things have to fall a certain way. I mean, most everybody holds this belief they have to work hard to get anywhere in life. Like, why can't we work easy? Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm attracted to that idea. Let's work easy. Yeah. Let's work smart, and instead of working hard.
Because we idolize all those people who overcame all this stuff. So you start to think, well, that's the way it has to be, and then that starts to get you caught up in your mind, because your mind is limited to how many things you can actually do to bring about your change. When you're so focused on and most of the time it's the ego. The shadow side of ego, that part that's based in fear and doubt and worry, that pushes you forward. But that's the wrong energy to create from. That's the energy that holds you into creating through struggle. Well, we can let go of that. We don't have to follow that. When you learn how to keep yourself into a higher vibration and noticing, like being really aware of your energy when you're dipping and falling down into that, like, spiral where it's not taking you anywhere good, there's so many things you can do to just flip into a higher vibration, because everything is energy, and the energy that you put out, you truly does come back to you. It's just that not everyone's aware of the energy that they're putting out. So maybe some people might be saying, affirmations about, I have, like, oh, I'm in this wonderful relationship and we have this beautiful home, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is what they want to create. And they're saying that, but what they're feeling in their body is, I don't know how this is ever going to happen. I mean, every guy I meet is a dud, like all of that energy. If you were to feel what you're feeling when you're saying the words, it's the feeling. That's the energy that puts out there. It's the energy, the feeling, the emotion has the power. So you want to be aware of that. So when people become aware of that and they realize, oh my God, and they see the changes by shifting the way they're feeling and thinking, things open up.
It does.
You start to prove it to yourself.
It absolutely does. And we talk a lot about mindset on the show, and this is tying right into mindset. And, some people say, well, I'm really not into all of that energy stuff. But it's working, whether you call it energy, whether you call it passion, whether you call it feelings or whatever. Emotional shifts happen, and I can prove it to you. Just watch a funny movie and watch how your energy shifts as you get lost in that movie. Or then look at a sad movie and notice how your energy shifts, or your emotions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, but notice how you can intentionally create those shifts in your mind. And then that creates changes in your attitude, changes in your beliefs, changes in your behavior. So this is exactly the mindset work, call it what you will, but this is exactly the internal game that we are playing with ourselves that we have to win in order to create those transformational shifts in our life and in our business.
Yeah. And that what we're talking about right now is a little bit more obvious for people to sort out, right? But then there's people who are actually stuck in past traumas or problems, and they keep replaying that story over and over again. It could have happened when they were 6 years old, 10 years old. It's not happening now, but yet they're taking that energy into every new thing that comes their way. Yes,
exactly. I saw a quote the other day, something along those lines, that I posted it and I can't remember it, but the gist of it is, if you don't heal from the thing that hurt you, you'll use that to hurt other people with. And that's exactly what you're talking about. We carry these wounds with us, and then we infect our present life and our present story by bringing the story in from the past that we haven't completely resolved yet.
Right. And then if you want to truly bring in that mindfulness, what is mindful? I mean, it's the here and the now.
Yeah.
So we have right here, right now. So the stuff that doesn't support you in the past, you learn from it, because there's purpose to everything, right? There's something to have learned from that. But you don't want to live in the negative side of that, because a lot of times people don't acknowledge what they learned from it so that they can let it go, appreciating the lesson that they got from it and not holding on any longer to the energy that's not serving them. So that's what I do with energy healing. Especially for bigger things like that, to like pull the shock and the trauma from any kind of an experience or resentment, regret. Energetically, you can pull that energy, really truly lift it out of your energy field, just by acknowledging it, which is like a mindfulness thing, and finding the lesson within it. Okay, well, that person was that way towards me, and it taught me. Okay, maybe it taught you how not to be like that person, or maybe it taught you how to step in and own yourself and be confident in who you are, no matter what anybody says to you. You know, things like. So when you actually, what I find is when people actually look at it that way, because I hadn't ever considered that before, possibly, like, wow, okay, yeah, I can be grateful for that experience, and then you can just let it go. I don't have to hold it anymore.
Do you think that people sometimes hang on to something longer than they should because they really, it's not serving them, but they think that it is because they really get their identity from being a victim? Is that possible in your experience?
Right. Well, a few things. One, it's comfortable. Like, they know that, right?
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable to move out of it, even if it's going to be for your highest good. But it's all just subconscious stuff running in the program. Like, there might be a pattern that says it's not safe to trust in corporations or whatever, or men or whatever it is, because you have this story that taught you, at least at that moment in time, that you weren't safe in that particular situation.
Right.
But then a lot of it is not conscious. Because if you were conscious of it, you can actually look at it and say, oh, wait a minute, I'm not going to let that run my life.
Yeah.
That happened 20 years ago. I'm ready to move here. I'm a different person now. So yeah, it's just like energy, because we're energy beings. So the way I look at it is, something I learned from one of my teachers is the 80-20 rule. 80% of our energy is not within the body. Only 20% is in here. So you have all that other energy that is this bigger, more expanded part of you that includes like your guides, right? And your higher self. So you want to get more in touch with that energy that can help you move you forward and release this denser energy that we're holding onto in our physical bodies, which of course are denser.
Sure. So someone listening to this and they resonate with it and they say, yeah, that describes me. What can our listeners begin doing right now to start moving in the right direction to create this transformation, get past the blocks? Do you have a self-help process that you'd be willing to share with us?
Sure. I actually have this, it's a small online course. It's for high vibe living, high vibrational living, because when you're to manifest what you want, You need to be in the vibration of it, which is a higher vibration, because obviously it's something that you want, different to what you're living now, which is where you're kind of stuck, right? Mm-hmm. So like I can run through these 7 tips briefly.
Sure.
But there's even more. There's so many ways. I think the first tip I talk about usually is this, what I call a vibeometer, like a meter. So, and I'm talking to you, I'm moving my hands around like you could see me. If the needle's all the way to the left, that's low, and all the way to the right is high. You want to kind of see, what am I feeling right now? So if you can catch yourself, it's just being aware of how am I feeling right now, because right now creates everything. So if you know you're stuck and you're depressed and you're miserable about something, well, there's a lot of things you can do to flip that energy, right? Mm-hmm. But the first thing is to have to be aware of it. Mm-hmm. Another tip I give is, I call it cancel that, because it's like when you hear that old story playing, or you catch yourself, we say things until you start paying attention. You don't realize how many negative things come out of your mouth. And a lot of times because you think it's funny, but it's not. You're putting this out there. So if I catch myself saying something that I don't want, I just, in my mind, immediately say, oh, cancel that. Okay, universe, I'm not putting that out there.
Yeah.
I just got sucked into that, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, just cancel that. I'm canceling that. And then the next one is tell a new story. Mm-hmm. That's it. Keep telling the new story and stop talking about that bad experience. That's what people like to wallow in their sorrow, because it's so comfortable to them. And maybe they think that by having people join in that lower energy with them and kind of pity them, that I don't know what they're thinking, but that's just not serving them.
Yeah.
And the story you rather live. Stop telling that old story. Tell a new story.
Absolutely. And we hear people express that all the time. I mean, as you're giving us these steps, I'm thinking about, people will make a mistake and they say, oh, I'm so stupid. I can never do anything right. So no, you made a mistake. It doesn't mean that you're stupid.
Yeah.
So that's where we cancel it. And we tell a new story. Yeah. You just made a mistake. It's not fatal. Yeah.
And to back that up, have you ever come across Dr. Emoto's studies on impressions in water?
I have heard of that.
Where he's proven, and our bodies are 70%, 60-70% water, right? It's a lot of water. Well, he's proven that water is impressionable. And he did this, and you can look on YouTube and Google Dr. Emoto. I think it's IMOTO, or impressions in water. He has a book on it, and he took, samples of water, the same sample of water, and a whole bunch of, say, Petri dishes, and you would put underneath each dish words like love, peace, harmony, Hitler, war, whatever, words that, high vibration, good words and bad words, put it that way, right?
Yeah.
And then you would, under a microscope, drop the same water on each of these Petri dishes. The water droplets that went onto a dish that had a word that was loving formed these beautiful snowflake-looking crystals. The words that were not, like, for your highest good, not good words, they formed these ugly-looking crystals.
Wow.
So it was proving how the water is impressionable. And he's done these other studies. And I used to hold meditation groups, and I'd have these moms do these studies with their kids where they'd have these jars of rice and water. And they would label, one jar would have all these beautiful words written on it. Another jar would be totally neglected, nothing, just a jar of rice and water. And then another jar that had all these awful words written on it. And then each day the family, the mom and the kids, would go to each one of these jars and either talk lovingly to one, totally ignore the other one, and say not nice things to this third jar. Well, at the end of whatever the period of time is, because I don't remember now, it's been a while, the jar that had the nice things spoken to it, the water changed color, but it was more like a golden color, kind of even, like not really, it just changed color. The jar that had people speaking horrible things to it, that was all like black and green and decrepit. But the jar that had no attention at all was worse than both of them. Wow. Yeah. So, energy makes a difference, and the words we speak hold energy. And so when you speak down to yourself, you're like, I almost never say anything negative myself. And when I do catch myself slipping into that, it's always like, oh, that's right, Linda, you can do better next time. Like, you just soften the blow.
Exactly.
The blow.
Yeah. So tell it. So first of all, be aware. And then secondly, cancel that out. Once you are aware of what you've said, what you've done, you've created the negativity. Third, tell a new story, replace that with something positive. So, what comes next? What's number 4?
Next, I talk about practicing allowing. Okay. So it's like getting out of that judgmental place and allowing other people to be who they are, which is allowing you to be who you are. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's really allowing things instead of having to. So right now I'm just thinking about this area, instead of having to fight it or oppose it or prove yourself or whatever. Just allow. Okay, maybe that person doesn't get it. You don't have to get sucked into that energy, right?
Yeah, man, I do that all the time. You've been watching me on social media, haven't you?
No, I haven't. But like attracts like, right?
we all get sucked into those conversations online that afterwards we say, I probably should have been better off just to not even go there.
You mean engaged in it, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Or what you're saying is probably a more evolved thing, is just to allow it without judging it, without getting caught up in it.
Let them be where they are. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a reflection on you. It's their story, right?
That's true.
It's not your story. Then I go into spread love, because love heals everything. Mm. So rather than, so in that case, you're like, you know what? So, I used to have really bad road rage when I was younger. Now, if someone cuts me off, it's like I just send them love. I'm like, oh, you must be needing this love right now because you're not even aware that you did what you did, or you aren't, and you really need the love. Yeah. Or maybe it's an old lady, and or maybe it's a young driver just starting out. They're going through whatever they're going through. I don't have to get angry and pissed off about it. I'd rather just send them love. First of all, it makes me feel a whole lot better, and maybe it saves that person from getting into some kind of accident or whatever. But you can do that anywhere. Like I even just, when I walk around, or if I'm in a food store or anywhere, I just send love, because I'm an energy healer, right? So I'm used to sending energy and working with energy. I just send love. And really, it's just intention. It's like, I'm sending you love. I send you love. Yeah. I do it all in my mind. I just kind of say love, 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 and that's my trigger that the love's being sent out to these people. And the more you do that, it's like, I'll send it to the people in this aisle. But I'm like, no, let's send it to everybody in the whole store. Yeah. And it just grows. I'm like, what? Let's send it to everybody in the parking lot. And like, okay, forget it. Let's just send it to everybody in the whole world. I just spread this energy of love out there, because that is the energy. That's what we're made out of. That's really the energy of everything. So that's how I healed the rotator cuff. I just put that energy into the shoulder.
Perfect.
My next step would be connecting with spirit. So really allowing, learning of, if you don't already know it, this connection you have to the energy that is outside of you, whether it's guides, angels, whatever you want to call the creator, God, source energy, maybe loved ones who've passed. I mean, there's so much assistance that you can get from what you cannot see. And when you open up to that, you can really start creating some magic. And then my 7th tip really is just reclaim your power, which is really just working with all of it, knowing that, we're not perfect. We're always evolving. That's the whole thing. We're creative beings who want to evolve and grow. So when you can hold that space, it does make everything so much easier, especially for those who think that their life is a result of somebody else. Right. Because truly, we are all responsible for everything that happens to us, the good, bad, and the ugly. And I know a lot of people can't grasp that concept. But everything out there is a reflection of whatever is inside of you. So, when you have more and more awareness of that, it does empower you to realize all the many different ways where you can create change in your life, because we're creative beings and that's what we do. So you're stepping more fully into your truth.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, those are really good tips. Those seven self-help things that you cover, and that takes you all the way from low to high. in a powerful way that helps you to manifest your transformation. So that's really useful. How can our listeners get in touch with you to find out more about your services, your coaching, your workshops, and all of that good stuff?
Right. So really from my website, lovemylife.coach. It's not a .com, it's a .coach. And there are many different ways to connect with me there. There's a couple of different ways you can give your email for a free, gift of some sort. I have one that's for these 7 tips of high vibe living, where I do like a short video on each one of them. And that's pretty cool, because it's just really getting in tune with these 7 ways of being that can really create shifts in your life just by bringing the awareness to it. Mm. So on my website, at the moment, I don't know if I have an actual thing to click, but if it's just lovemylife.coach/raise-your-vibration-instantly. Raise your vibration instantly. Each word has a dash between it.
Okay. So we'll have that link on the website. It leads to the main website, lovemylife.coach, which is a very cool domain name. That is also cool. And your website is beautiful. Great job on the design and the branding there. Really is in alignment with the vibe that you're putting out. So great job with that. Any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd like to share with us before we call it a day?
I guess pretty much what I was kind of saying just now at the end, that everything that occurs in your life is a mirror of what's going on energetically within you. And the good news is that when you actually see that, you know which things to work on. So if you're working with someone like me, an energy healer, we can assist you to uncovering and unraveling and releasing all the energy ties and cords and any vows, oaths, decisions you've made, limiting beliefs. That can all just be lifted and taken away. And so, it is kind of a hard concept to grasp, but if you start thinking of everything as energy and that you are a creator, you're an energy artist is the way I put it. Just start playing with the concept, that idea, and then you can see how you can start applying that in your life. And there's so many people writing about this and teaching this and doing this kind of work through energy healing that you're just opening your awareness to it is the beginning of it all. Knowing that you can actually really change and work through energy to release what holds you back. Yeah. Excellent.
Well, that's words of wisdom from Linda Armstrong, who is an energy healer and a spiritual awakening coach. Her unique style is combining energy healing with coaching while tapping into her intuitive nature and spiritual guidance to help her clients live an inspired high vibrational life to manifest their transformation. If you want to find out more, you can reach out to Linda at lovemylife.coach. And we'll have that link on our website as well. Linda, it's been a real pleasure to chat with you. Thanks so much for your time. And I appreciate you being on Rebelpreneur Radio today.
Thank you. I love talking to you.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.